So I'd like to start. I was listening to the High Performance podcast on the way here, and it struck me that you're a person who puts a lot of value on people and culture. So I guess that leaving Brentford, maybe not the easiest thing in the world. So what was appealing about Tottenham, and why do you want to take on this challenge?
Tottenham is a massive club. It was a fantastic challenge to be involved in, and I'm really excited about it. I think the team is good. I think the players got good potential. Really looking forward to the season.
And looking at yourself, again, it strikes me that culture and people are really important things about your managerial style as well, not just yourself. So how would you, in your own words, describe yourself as a coach and as a person?
Oh, that's difficult. I think as a person, I think I'm pretty down to earth. I'm just a normal guy that loves football and always loved the game. It was crazy when I was a kid, when I was growing up, watching, starting coaching young, 20 years old, starting coaching. I think as a coach, I would say I'm very focused on details. I'm very, I got all details and principles for all phases of the game, all situations. I have figured out over the years how I want to do it, but I also constantly get inspired. So I see, that's a little new thing. Could I maybe twist it? So constantly like to improve, not the game, but improve the way I want to play. I would say I'm a quite, I like to play offensive, but also pragmatic enough that I know we need to defend as well. Most games we need to defend half of the games, so that's important as well. But just very much into details, just love every aspect about the game.
Do you think in the time that you've been in England, or maybe even across your whole career, you've changed much as a coach?
I would say the core of me as a coach, I think, is the same. I think I've been here now 8.5 years, so I learned a lot, developed a lot. So I would say I'm even more clear in all my principles throughout the phases. That's definitely adding layers in all the phases, and I also say, especially as a head coach or manager, I think my leadership skills, I think, is getting better and better. I'm definitely not perfect. I definitely will make mistakes, but you're just used to more and more of these tricky situations you are in. How you deal with disappointment, how you deal with players when you need to build a culture when they're stepping over the line, not stepping over the line. How do you make sure everyone walks in the same direction? How to make sure you get the staff with you? How to make sure you keep on them when you win 5 games in a row? How to make sure that you keep the energy and the positivity when you lose 5 games in a row? So all those experiences, of course, have made me better.
Is adaptability one of those principles as well? Is that maybe something that you've added to your arsenal over the years?
I think so. I think when I was not growing up as a coach, but what do you call it? My early years as a coach, especially, let's say, in my 30s, very idealistic, very Ajax, the Barcelona way. Also got a big inspiration from Morten Olsen, the former head coach for the Danish A national team. He was a very offensive coach, also inspired by Ajax. So I was just looking, wow, the way they played, big inspiration. And very fixed on that offensive way. But then over the years, I've been learned more and more that you need to adapt. I think all the best coaches in the world, they adapt. No doubt that Pep, for example, look at him. Everyone call him maybe the best coach in the world. I agree. But he's gone from having Alves in Barcelona, one of the best offensive fullbacks, probably not as good defensively, with all due respect, to playing with 4 centre-backs at some time. So that's just one example. So for me, that's adaptability in terms of types in the different positions, adaptability in terms of system for different games, but there needs to be some core principles that you believe in that is through the way you want to play.
How will your approach change now that you've come to Tottenham and you're inheriting a team that won European silverware last year? Does that make it more of a challenge?
I think it's a big challenge no matter what. No matter if we won everything last year, we didn't win anything last year. It's a massive challenge to step into Tottenham, which I'm very ready for. It feels very natural to step into the role. I'm very excited of it. Of course, I'm aware that there's difference between coaching Brentford and Tottenham in terms of most likely we will hopefully dominate more games. That means there will be phases of the game and principles in the way I see the game we need to be more focused about. For example, let's say phase 2 and breakthroughs and how you break down opponents. So that's obviously a big thing. So stuff like that, I will change a little bit the focus.
How will you look to sort of build on the legacy, on the platform of being Europa League winners?
I think it's a fantastic experience the players got, the team, the club got. So that we need to build on. That they won a massive trophy in Europe. Would like to win a trophy again. They got experience by being in a final, winning it, and also having a long campaign to get into the final. So that experience I of course need to build on. I would say that what we need to be better at is competing in more than one competition. So that's the biggest challenge. That I'm not in doubt that we can compete, but we need to compete preferably in 4 different competitions.
What are your thoughts on the squad since you've joined? Do you think it's a group of players where you can begin to build that culture, which is so important to your approach?
Yeah, I would say that we all stand on the shoulders of others. So of course I think Ange and his coaching staff have done a good job in terms of first and foremost winning a trophy, a European trophy for the first time in 41 years. Incredible. So that foundation is to stand on. I think there's a good starting point with culture in the playing squad. And of course I like to build on that and make it even stronger. But I think we have a good foundation.
And the individuals themselves, they're the right characters to be receptive to your messages?
Yeah, so far they should be. It would be a little bit disappointing if they wasn't after 3 weeks. But no, they're good guys. They want to train hard. We trained for 2.5 hours on the pitch today, and they really pushed, for example. So, yeah, very happy with that.
And football-wise, what do you think the main strengths are in this squad?
No, I think it's clearly a squad that over the last 2 years have been very, very offensive and very, how can you say, all in on the ball. So there's big strength in that, and that I like to keep and build on, and then build, I would say, maybe a bit more balance throughout a game in terms of how do we attack, but also be able to defend well.
The addition of European football is going to be a personal change for you. So what are you expecting from that whole experience and from the challenge of managing in now 4 competitions at once?
Looking forward to it. I'm very excited about it. It's I would say the biggest difference, because of course we have had game weeks before with Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday is not the first time I experienced that. So that's the main bit, but it's just doing over a longer period. And then of course, especially the Champions League with all the extra focus and extra emotions. That's the bit we need to experience. But I have good people around me, and I'm pretty sure that we'll put some good processes in around all that to make sure we can do our best to perform.
You mentioned it a bit before there, the importance of being able to compete in 4 tournaments for the first time since, I guess, 2019. What's the objective, therefore, for this Champions League campaign?
Yeah, first and foremost, we need to compete in it. And the objective will always be that we can go from the group stages to the knockout phases. That will be the objective. But there's 8 games in the group phase, so that will definitely be 1 game at a time.
Pedro, what's your first impressions of him since you took over, both personally and as a player?
As a player, looking from the outside, I always admired him. I thought he was a top player. I like his abilities on the ball. I think he's got a wonderful right foot in terms of crosses and the balls behind. He's very technical, composed. Can basically do everything he wants with that ball. So very, very impressive with that. And I think he's a good defender as well. Outside the pitch, he's no doubt that he's an extremely important player in the squad. He's so good energy. He's coming every day with energy, smile, dragging the other players with him, a bit of banter at the right times, but also that's he knows when to be serious and when not to be serious.
Excellent. And I guess the same question for Mickey van der Ven as well. What type of character he is, how important he is to his team.
Yeah, of course. I think Mickey is a very important player for the team. We need to work really on the availability this year, and I think our big how can you say starting point is to getting the preseason right. And so far, touch wood, it's been very good. I think his abilities as a defender is incredible pace, incredible. Physicality, and I like his composure on the ball as well, and he's also a very important character in the group.
Looking forward a little bit now, you're definitely going to hit the ground running with PSG in the Super Cup. I mean, that's as tough as things get, really, isn't it? What are you expecting from that fixture?
We're playing a final. That's fantastic. It's another final. Hopefully we can use some experience we had from the last final. The team played against Man United. It's the best team in Europe. Won the treble. They went to the final in the Club World Cup. They looks like they are extremely strong in all 11 positions, starting positions. It's a fantastic challenge to have in the first game, but of course we believe in ourselves. We go into a final, and that will be one objective. I'll try to win it.
Looking at your team and the development of your team, what lessons are you looking to learn from that fixture?
That we won. That's the lesson I want to learn.
Anything in terms of how you want to see your team playing, like implementing your style of football, or is that it, just a silver? That
game will be about winning, no doubt about that. Then over the season, every game will be about winning. But of course, the style and principle, of course, I hope to see some of that in that game. But the learning from that game, that will only be one thing: win. And if we, for whatever reason, shouldn't win, then we will learn from it. But of course, we'll try to get the principles in. But it is quite unique. It's a final. You play one game. That means that most likely you will adjust a few things.
But it's a big test, isn't it?
Oh, it's a fantastic test. It doesn't get better. So, but it's not only a test. It's a final, and I would say we don't see it as a test. We see it as we go in, two good teams against each other, and we want to win.
For you, Thomas, what do you think are the most important characteristics for a successful leader?
As like a football coach, captain, CEO, whatever, it can be everything. Yeah,
I think you can interpret
it. Yeah.
Like.
In my opinion, I think you need to have good values. I think you need to be very good at communicating, because if you can communicate well, you can hopefully guide people in the direction you wanna walk. And I also think if you can communicate well, there'll be a lot of one-to-one conversations with important members of your business or team or football club, whatever you are, that is around you, so they can communicate well to the next layers. So I think that's big. Personally, I think it's important emotional intelligence. I think it's important to have a score okay high on that. So you understand people, because you're dealing with people, and to deal with them, you need to try to understand them. So I think that's important. And then I think you need to be consistent in your behavior. Of course, we can all be emotional, we can all that, but I think you need to be consistent in behavior as much as possible. I think you need to. I think that was it. That was one more thing. I lost it.
There's a phrase that you use often, confident but humble, which really impresses me. So, with that in mind, do you think you embody those characteristics that you just mentioned?
Yeah, but I'll take one layer before that and then come to that. I would say the like, when I step into this club, the 3 non-negotiable for me is like be on time / discipline, respect, so the way we treat others or treat each other, and hard work. So if you have discipline / be on time, work hard, and you respect people, there's a good chance you can achieve something very good. But besides that, I also think I need to try to install confidence in let's say the players or the staff members. But also they need to be humble enough to work hard, humble enough to constantly show respect for others, humble enough and aware enough to always be on time, for example. So you can't be too sloppy sometimes, because it is relentless to get success in any business, whatever job you have in the world. And I think I need to walk the talk.
Taking one layer down in the kind of leadership hierarchy, your captain. What do you look for in your captain?
I would say it's a little bit the same. I would like a captain also that walks the talk. Also, they can bring the group together. Also can set standards. So prefer the captain to be one of the best trainers, if not the best trainer. Also that he hopefully can get around the squad to speak with everyone. Of course, we all have our go-to guys in any squad. That's natural. I would say that was the most important thing.
When you join a new club like Tottenham, how important is that first contact moment with the players, but also just all of the staff as well?
It's a good question. I guess it's important, or not guess, it is important. It's extremely important. That's why I try to set the tone. But I think no matter what you do the first day, if you don't follow it up, good or bad, it doesn't make sense. So if I set the tone, I definitely need to follow up. So let's say I don't do too much, but I follow up and do it every day, then it's fine. But of course, can we come in and set the tone, then it's perfect. So I had a meeting with everyone, all the staff, the main staff here the first day at the training ground, just to set my expectations. And I think it's very important to adjust expectations to each other, because then it's easier to get your things through. And I did the same with the players. And then hopefully I'm consistent and follow up with the right messages.
Yeah, consistent in your messages, I think, is a recurring theme. I've noticed it in your management. Has that changed over the course of your career, the way that you communicate to your players?
I would say I've become more consistent. I think it's just been more and more clear for me how often that I need to mention, let's say, the key areas in the culture bit, let's say togetherness, hard work, attitude, and give different example of that. A style of play, okay, high pressure, recovery runs, duels, or crosses, or whatever it is. So that repeating the messages, so that, okay, that's what we do, that's what we do. And in terms of communicating, I really try to, you're forcing me to speak, okay, but I'm really trying to be sharp in my answers and also in communications, because I think if you, no matter how fantastic and some beautiful words you can use, but if you overdo it and talk, you lose people. So I think you need to be clear and concise. I think that's the key thing. And then I think I don't know, it's just me, but I think to be authentic, to be myself. I'm really saying also, when I've been into this hamster wheel and this crazy circus of football, the day I change, I know my wife, she will definitely tell me off, but also my good friends and the people that sometimes you change now, you can't do that. So I really hope that I'm the same guy I was 20, 30 years ago.
What about when things go wrong? Say you're at half time, you're losing. Can you raise your voice at that moment? Is that something that you can go to? Yeah,
I can. I'm not doing it too often, because I need to feel it in the body. I need to feel it, so they're not in doubt if I feel it. I've been told I can't show my evil eyes because I'm quite, how can you say, my body language is very clear, let me put it that way. But I'm also, I think if we are not performing well for whatever reason. Sometimes they need guidance. Sometimes they don't need anyone to shout after them. But I think if they don't, let's say they don't work hard enough, or I think that's the main bit. If they don't work hard enough, or it's we are too not afraid, but you know what I mean. We're not up for the challenge. We are respecting them too much. That's maybe where I can raise my voice. But it's not that often. I think I've done it. Let's say the last 4 years in Prem, 1 to 2 times per season.
And you think this generation of players are still receptive to it?
Yeah, but I think it is also, of course, I know I can't swear here, but I'm not going directly at a player. You are so bad. What are you doing? You are useless. That is not making a point, but I can be very direct and very spot on. And I think that's the way to do it, in my opinion.
Okay. Sid's a question. If I
second.
Sid's a question.
Yeah.
Danish last.
Yeah.
The last question. I tried to slip in a Danish word.
No, okay, sorry. Sidste spørgsmål.
Sidste spørgsmål.
Ja, tak.
Thank you. Which leaders have made the biggest impression on you on your journey to where you are today?
Which leaders? That's a good question. I think been taking bits and pieces from, I don't know, I want to say coaches, because that's looking from the outside. You don't really know. I'm more looking on the team and the structure. So I would say there's a Danish guy called Michael Trolle, who was a Danish volleyball coach. And I had him at university speaking about coaching and culture. So that bit really interested me, and I got inspiration from him. Then I have a mentor in leadership, and speak with him about leadership, how I can constantly develop or improve. And then I think I'm very good at observing. So I'm just always looking at people, and of course now you can say I'm the boss, but I also come into a situation where there can be owners, chairmen, whatever, other head coaches, where you feel a little bit what they do, where you hear stories. I think that's what I take, small bits.